Next up, we're going to be talking about lights, camera, but what about business? You know, we hear all this stuff about the film industry in New Mexico, so we've got some amazing folks with us here today who live and breathe the film industry work and enjoy what they're doing and are using it to build their lives and their livelihood. And I'm going to pass it off to Miss Carrie Wells, Deputy Director of the New Mexico Film Office, who is going to facilitate the panel, and we're joined with our special guest, Daniel Cummings. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Massive crowd. I hope you guys can hear me okay. So again, I'm Carrie Wells. I'm with the New Mexico Film Office. I started there in 2019. Before that, I was with the City of Albuquerque Film Office since 2005, so I've been doing this for a little bit of time. I'm a native Albuquerquean, born and raised here, and I did not intend to work in film at all. But here I am, 700,000 years later, working for the government and making 10 cents an hour.
You look amazing.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Water, it's lots of water. So anyway, I wanted to ask first, there aren't that many people in the audience, but like, what is your interest? Do you have businesses? Are you looking at working with the film industry? Are you looking at working in the film industry? Who's in the film industry?
With the film industry.
Okay.
I have an apparel business, so I'm looking to get my product,
Fantastic, good. And what about?
You're in the right place, sir. We'll get to you.
You got
Yes, we need clothes.
Just talking about you, that's great.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So I just want to give you some real quick facts. So at the New Mexico Film Office, we offer the film tax credit. So that's what our focus is in the state, is to provide a film tax credit that lures the productions from out of state to New Mexico to film. We offer a 25 to 40% tax credit, and that's for New Mexico goods and services. So that means for people who live and work in New Mexico. And that's what we want, is more New Mexicans working with the film industry and in the film industry. For businesses that work with the film industry, there are vendors, I would say about a third of the budget for a production is local New Mexico vendors. So there's a lot of opportunity there. We have people from like, it's hotels, restaurants, film equipment, those kinds of things, but also, we were just talking about this earlier, there was a gallery that just recently closed, but it was Sumner and Dean. They were a local gallery that would rent their art out to productions, get the art back, and then still be able to sell it later. There is the hat shop, the men's hat shop. They work with the film industry all the time just for crew to buy hats. There's bicycle repair, there's battery salespeople. There's so many different kinds of people that work with the film industry. The opportunities are pretty much endless. So if there's ever a thought that it's hard, you can't work with the film industry, it's not reachable, it really is. And also if you're interested in working in film, that's also a really great opportunity. I just want to share this really quickly, is that to work in the film industry, you just have to have a good attitude and a good work ethic. You don't have to have a college degree. And the film industry, the average wage for a New Mexican living or working in the film industry is about $32 an hour. And I think it's about $18, $19 an hour is the average wage for other industries in New Mexico. So it's an amazing wealth building opportunity, and you get retirement, and you get health care. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's one of the best things I think that's ever happened for New Mexico. So I have cards up here, and I'll leave them up here. So if you ever have questions, or friends who have questions about it, please feel free to reach out. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to our panelists. I'd like first for them to each introduce themselves, and then we'll go into I want you to talk about introduce yourself and what you do with the film industry, and then we can go on from there. Sir.
My name's Daniel Cummings, and I'm an independent film producer who's been living in New Mexico since 2019. I came for a project from Los Angeles and just still haven't left. In large part, it's because there's so much work here that it just made it tough to go back to Los Angeles, where the competition for anything, it's just a very different vibe. The last 3 to 4 years, I've produced 10 feature films that have had budgets of $2 to $5 million, and really just have found the work ethic and the resources in the state and make it really easy to be successful in this industry. So I'm glad to be here and answer any questions you guys might have throughout the panel.
Hello. Hi guys. My name is Powdrell. I'm a local here, born and raised in New Mexico. I started as a commercial interior designer when I graduated college and made the jump into the film industry during COVID, so 2020, all masks, the whole situation. I started with the health and safety department of it all, and now I work for the assistant director's department, and I've been working there for 3 years. I've done a number of different productions, the big ones that have come, most notable, probably Oppenheimer, Waco, Flamin' Hot, which got a lot of really good press, and it's an amazing movie, and you should see that. That was my first start. Just a series of different productions that have come in and out are looking for that local help. So I'm a great example of someone that just walked in with a good attitude and didn't want to leave, and they never asked me to. So I've been doing it for 3 years. I also work as an entertainer in the music industry and local music industry, national anthems, that kind of thing. My family owns a barbecue place. Go see it. We're still open. Mr. Powdrell's Barbecue. And that's it. I'll pass it on.
Did she say that's it? I gotta follow that in $2 to $5 million. All right. My name is nobody. My name is saxophone Delmone Taylor. I'm an international touring musician. I've played over 5,000 shows in 16 countries for the past 36 years. I've toured. I started playing with Bo Diddley when I was 12 years old. I'm part of the Marsalis camp, learning to play saxophone in New Orleans, where my mom's from. So I'm part of the Little All-Stars. I've been on tour with Tito Puente, Digital Underground, Casey and JoJo. I've had my own band called The James Douglas Show, Felonious Crew Foundation. We've had our own TV show on NBC with over 100 episodes called The After Party, featuring Stephen Michael Quesada. That was on Breaking Bad. That's kind of why I'm here, because I've been able to use my musical platform to transition as a production engineer into into movies and TV and film. So now I just did 15 months on a movie called Coyote Cage, and I did all of the audio for that except the music and holding the boom mic. But sound design, ADR, recording afterwards, voiceovers, sound mixing, mastering, I did all of that. And right now it's ranked top 5 film in New Mexico, up there with Flaming Hot and Res Ball and a couple other. I'm like, hey, my first feature film, and it's blowing up. So yeah, I've been able to use that platform, along with I'm the founder of the Tau Sigma chapter of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated at University of New Mexico. And I also was the COO of the fastest credit repair company in the nation. I put 7 offices in 6 states in 2 years. I took it from a $13,000 business all the way to a $170,000 business in a year and a half. I love being able to help entertainers understand the business side of the industry, because it's only 10% talent, 90% business. And so, as an educator, I got my music education degree from UNM, and that's what I'm trying to do. So, minorities, especially Black people, be able to make that transition. They teach us how to do song and dance all our life, and then when we turn 18, nobody knows how to make money off of it. That's what I do.
I'm sorry, that's nobody.
Hi everyone, hello. My name is Emanuel Green, aka the man in the green shoes. I've been back in New Mexico since last year, November 2023. I'm losing my years right now. I'm originally from Deming. I got signed at a young age out of Deming, New Mexico. Probably one of the first few artists to get signed out of Deming, of all places. I had a demo and I got myself signed. So I was signed at 17 to about 23. Interned at Capitol Records. That's where the man in the green shoes thing started. Wore green shoes to work every day. Long story short, come into work, Capitol Records, last day work, the entire Capitol Records is dressed in green, so Hollywood dubbed me the man in the green shoes. So over there I'm dubbed the man in the green shoes. Always wear green shoes, yeah, you're looking down.
Those green Crocs?
Yeah, no, those are. But yeah, same thing. So I was mainly in the music industry, and then I got involved in commercials, maybe like, I don't know, 8 years ago, give or take, someone just said, hey, you have a nice smile, ever try commercials? I said, nope, and boom, I was in a commercial. So it wasn't that hard for me, it just kind of transitioned into that, and then I was in Texas, and that's when things really took off for me. Got my SAG eligibility out there, so I've only really been on the TV film side, maybe like 5 or 6 years, give or take, because I was primarily mainly in music. And then that took me out of the state, took me out of the country, took me all different places. And then I utilized a lot of that skill set to meet different people and started my own businesses. Had one when I was like 26, it was an event company. We were doing like parties and all that stuff. And then I now have a marketing consulting firm. So I'm just utilizing a lot of the skill sets that I'm learning being in the entertainment industry to go into business, because like my man here was saying, there's just a lot of that transitional skills that we can use in other areas as well. And then coming back here to New Mexico, learning how big TV film industry is now becoming here. So it's kind of interesting. It's a full circle moment for me to have left to do the same thing that I came back to do. So, and on top of that, doing business too. So it's just cool to kind of see all this happening and be a resource, and also learn more about how to get involved in the industry behind the scenes as well, not just in front. I do get a lot of activity just because there's not a lot of us on the front end. So, I mean, there's roles they'll send me, and I'm just like, this is not a black guy, but you know, it's still, I'll read for it, and it is what it is. But this is interesting. So there's a lot of opportunity, not just in front of the screen, but behind the screen too. So we got to take advantage of that, because it's here, and we have to take advantage of it as being locals too. So that's what I'm here for. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna let Emanuel take advantage of this microphone that's gonna sit in front of him.
Dude, this one isn't as loud, see?
Have to grab it.
Yeah, we gotta go like.
Thank you guys so much for that. I wanted to go into the next thing. So we've heard a little bit about your background and working with film. One of the questions is, how would a business, how did you, in the business sense, start working with the film industry? Like, what happened? How did you get there? Because that's, I think, a big question for a lot of people. So if I can start with, actually, I want to ask Daniel, because Daniel's a producer who hires local businesses. So how do you find them? What do you do? What are you looking for?
Sure. The thing that's important to know is how much money is in the film industry for local business. We don't want to buy things from Amazon because it's not eligible for incentive. We want to buy from New Mexican businesses and individuals. That's where we get the incentive money back, which is why everything that's here is here. So it's important for any small business or business of any size that is based in New Mexico to find a way to get your brand and what you offer in front of the people who are purchasing. Around a third of every budget is spent on vendors, and whether it's rentals, whether it's purchasing crew shirts as apparel, just, you know, it's the meals that we have on set, it's all purchased locally to maximize the incentive. And, you know, what I generally do is, you know, a lot of times I'll look at film liaison websites, the film website for the state film office or Albuquerque or Santa Fe's film website or wherever I'm shooting. But most importantly for me is networking with other people who have been here longer than me or done shows, or even crew. You know, I've done 3 films in Las Cruces and 3 in Ruidoso, and the best resource are people who live in that community, because they know the places that are good. They know who's open later. They know who can handle large parties. And, you know, the people on a film set who are doing the purchasing or making the decisions, it's usually a line producer, a UPM, or the production coordinator. And so getting you what you have to offer and kind of a breakdown to those people, as well as the local and state film offices, is the easiest way to kind of get the awareness out there that you are a resource. That's how I generally go about doing it. And also just living in the state, I mean, a little selfishly, if I like eating somewhere and the food's good, I'm gonna try to get that food on set too, because that production pays for it and I'm gonna eat it. But, that's, you know, it's just a little bit of everything, but there's so much money in film that should be staying in a state, and there's no reason for it to go out when there are businesses here that can offer the same thing that we're buying anywhere in the country.
And then I just want to add to that, and I'm going to go to you, Kat, and deals. But I wanted to say that some other opportunities to, if you have a business and you want to work with the film industry, is to get listed on our website, nmfilm.com. We have a production services directory. You can list there for free. Then Taxation and Revenue also has their own list of qualified vendors, and that just means that Taxation and Revenue has vetted them and made sure that they're a New Mexico business, so that they don't have to. Productions will know easily. Okay, I can hire these guys. They've already been vetted by Taxation and Revenue. It's easy. So it's a faster hire for them. Also going to local film liaisons. So we have film liaisons throughout the state, in many of the cities throughout the state, and you can get that information off of our website. But get to know them, get listed on their website. I would say get to know your film liaison for sure, because I know production companies will work with the film liaison to get permits, to ask questions about filming there. So let them know that you're around too and what you offer, because they may be able to pass that on to a production who's looking for whatever it is that you have to offer. So just thinking of those things. Again, I'm gonna have my cards up here so you can grab that later if you have questions for me. Anytime after, you're welcome to give me a call or shoot me an email. I'm happy to help. Now I want to ask Kat, and on the other end, so how did you get started? How did you find your niche?
Yeah,
Start
so,
working in film, and then we'll go down with everybody.
Yeah, so I definitely came from left field, because being in a design industry in a 9-to-5 in an office, it's a totally different environment. But it was something as simple as just knowing somebody that had already done it and telling them that I was interested. And I had met a friend of mine, an entertainer of mine, I was 25 years old. And fast forward, oh my God, so a decade later is when it finally came in handy that I knew this person, right? He had gotten a call for a commercial. He was out of town and said, I know somebody, she really wants to do it. And they're like, okay, no experience, we're desperate. Yay. The bar was low. And so I started on a commercial for a video game. Far Cry 6 was the name of the video game. And it was 3 of the best days of my life. It was one of those things. I had a great attitude. I wanted to learn, and I worked hard. And the thing that inspires me the most about the community I come from is that that's the norm. We are all like that, overall, we have that good attitude, we have that loyalty, that camaraderie, we work hard. It isn't one of those sort of communities where, only the top stay at the top, there's no connections because working hard doesn't do anything, you have to already be there kind of situations, and that's what makes the film industry so amazing as well. But I just developed a relationship and did a good job for 3 days. That got me a week on a Western. That got me the second AD job on Meow Wolf, Denver. That got me health and safety on Flamin' Hot. That got me base camp and et cetera, there on and there forth. But it just came down to getting my foot in the door and making a good first impression. And so it's to what you were saying, once they know you and they have a good experience with you, you're done. That's basically it. It sounds very easy from a business standpoint. If I'm a local business and as an individual crew member, discounts are amazing, merch is great, we love stickers, that kind of thing. But they're not Googling, they're not watching local television, they're not a part of those advertisement arenas. So it's an untouched industry where it really just is like, a friend of mine went here, said the food was amazeballs, and then I told everybody else, let's go. It is that simple. Have a good relationship. The men's hat shop we convinced them to open because it was hot and there was like 40 crew members that needed a hat. So we all went for lunch and they just closed that place down with support. The money is there from an individual standpoint as a crew member. It's there as a production. So the opportunities are there. Just be open to the conversation and be ready to have that conversation when it comes at you, I guess would be the best advice. But as soon as you're there and as soon as you've developed 1, maybe 2 relationships, it's all it's gonna take. Because the demand really outweighs the supply that we have here, and the incentives make them want to spend the money locally. So they need more, yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Next time you're gonna have to start from this side. It is really hard to follow these two. We got into film and TV because we are broke, homeless musicians. And when the last guy loses his girlfriend, we have nowhere to live. So at least,
It all makes sense.
at least TV and film have craft service, so we can at least eat, right? But being successful musicians on our own, we all had endorsements and sponsorships. I am the most endorsed saxophone player in the world right now with 14 endorsements. But besides me and Shawnee and Kenny G, do you even know another saxophone player alive right now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nobody cares. It doesn't matter, right? It's just a marketing pitch. But what has been great to get us in is we knew to get our TV show started. It was like, well, we're tired of touring. We're doing 300 shows a year on the road. So 8 to 10 months on the road every year for 15 years straight. It got very, very tiring considering they're supposed to be married and have kids. Maybe. We never really knew. Every day was kind of a toss-up to see if they were gonna still have a family when we got home. So we wanted to figure out a way to be able to still stay home but still make money, but still be able to be entertainers. And we had no money, but we had sponsors. So we had McDonald's sponsoring us. They didn't give us money, but they gave us an album. They recorded an album for us, and they gave us 5 big books of coupons for McDonald's. Now that's not good for musicians because we're on the road 4 days a week. I mean, 4 times a day we got to eat, and they're like, well, I don't have any money, and I don't want to spend the money I made last night, so bust out those books. We all gained 15 pounds in like 5 hours. It was the worst. But we had free food. I've never paid for anything in music in the past 20 years. I haven't paid for a saxophone, reeds, neck straps, cases. And we also had sponsorship for like JetBlue, so we were playing in airports. You couldn't even get a ticket to the show. You have to have a plane ticket at gate B6. And we're playing in the middle of an aisle, jumping up and down. And we're like, who are these guys? We didn't care, we just had the endorsement. So if you don't have any money, you can use your talent to be able to get other people that have money that are jealous of what you do. No, I'm just joking. They're willing to help because there are a lot of people that are good in business, or a lot of people that are good at getting people together. But when it comes to throwing a party, or throwing a fundraiser, they do not know how to keep people in the building. They do not know how to get people to come to the building. So when you bring entertainment, and a name that they know the party is gonna be off the chain and everybody's gonna have a good time. When people are having a good time, all of a sudden they get a little liquor in them and then pockets get a little loose. And then all of a sudden people start writing checks. They say checks aren't, fundraising isn't done in the business office, it's done on the golf course, right? Because you have to build a relationship with people before you can get money out of them. Everybody knows what they can do for you. They can give you free stuff. We get free saxophones, we get free trips, we get sponsorship money to go on the road. But what can you do for them? Entertainers don't want to do anything. They don't even want to do anything for themselves. They get the song done and now, all right, I'm done. We did all the work to make a song, but now it comes time to marketing and promoting it, and now everybody's too lazy, right? Too tired. I'm too hurt. Are you hurt or are you injured, right? You gotta have that athlete's mentality to follow it through all the way through the 4th quarter. And just because you have a product, you got a lot of musicians that have CDs and t-shirts and just stacked up $50,000 worth of inventory stacked up in the garage, where if you change with the times into this digital age, now they got drop shipping, and now they have websites, and now you don't have to do all of that, but you have to change with the times, and the business needs all progress and support. So if you don't have any business, you don't have any sponsorships, you don't have a website, you don't even have a business card, people will not want to sponsor you. Or they'll sponsor you instead of $50,000, they'll give you $50. So we have been able to make a whole TV show, even though we didn't have any money, we had sponsorships. Electrosonics just happens to be the #1 audio pack for TV. The president uses electrosonics. The NFL uses electrosonics. Every reality show in the world uses electrosonics. They're the #1 company in the world. They just happen to be in Rio Rancho, 5 miles up the street. Everybody in the world, their factory is a little bigger than this room, and nobody knows about it. We got them to sponsor our TV show and do all the audio for us, so we have professional audio for our TV show. We got the data school, like what is it, digital analytics and technical astronauts or something?
Yes.
They're a high school kids that prepare kids for TV and film production.
Right.
So we were able to work out a grant with the state to let those kids get SAG credit by working on our TV show for free. So we have free crew for the whole TV show. So our whole overhead, if you don't have any money, well then get stuff for free. If you're getting everything for free, then you don't need to be rich, right? So as musicians, when we're over here hustling and being able to figure out how to do everything under budget, TV and film are wasteful with money. They waste so much money. So when they see musicians that come in and we're able to take $1 million budget and do the exact same thing with a $20,000 budget, now all of a sudden everybody's talking and listening to us. And they want to know, how are we doing it? And now everybody around the world is going, how are you guys doing it? How do you have 2 buses? How do you have 3 trailers? How do you have a building and a studio? And how are you feeding these guys when everybody else is getting paid $30 a gig? How are you guys making $15,000 a gig in places that you've never played before? Merch. We have things to say. They say power of 1,000 fans. If you only need 1,000 fans. If 1,000 fans have spent $100 on you in a year, that's $100,000. Can you live off $100,000? I know I can. But everybody's sitting there trying to get 1 million views on YouTube when all you need is 1,000 loyal fans. But what people are missing is $100 worth of stuff to sell. You get a musician, I got a song. Well, how much is it? Is it $100? No, it's 99 cents, right? And then they're only making 0.001 cent on that 99 cents. So you need t-shirts, you need shot glasses, calendars, whatever's gonna make you revenue on the backside to get capital gains, so then you take those capital gains and put it into another asset, and then it's tax-free. So it's learning those sponsorship and endorsements and being able to get other people to pay for your career. That's how we were able to fund millions of dollars behind us to get a TV show and charting songs on the Billboard and tour all over the world, keeping 12 people on the road, paying for hotels and gas when gas went from 99 cents to $3.
And can I just jump in? I want to ask really quickly. So when you started the show, what is the name of the show again? You just told me.
It was called the After Party.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Are you guys still doing that, or is that done?
We're actually about to start up again because Quesada's Comedy Club.
Yeah.
I've been talking with the governor and trying to get a grant for all of that because New Mexico is about to get erased as far as New Mexico citizens in film. It was fine when there was this quiet kept secret of New Mexico film, but now New York, LA, Louisiana, Georgia, Texas, everybody has found out that what magazine just said that Albuquerque was the #1 city and New Mexico was the #1 state to make TV and film. Do you think these $1 million people didn't hear that? So now these guys are bringing $1 million trailers worth of gear and going, who's your #1 guy in New Mexico? Oh, you've got a $20,000 audio setup. Cool, get out the way, kid. Charlie, bring in the truck of all the audio stuff. And now New Mexicans are not gonna be able to be on any set because $1 million to a New Yorker, $1 million to an LA guy is pocket change. $1 million to a New Mexican, some people don't make that in a lifetime.
Well, let me just jump in and say, as a person who works for the State of New Mexico Film Office and I work with the film tax credits, that's my job, is to make sure that we get you guys hired. And we work to incentivize New Mexicans and telling productions hire New Mexicans. So where that may not be happening, whatever you're seeing, we can work with the legislation each year to change that and make it tighter so that our New Mexicans are working, because that's what we want, is New Mexico to be the best place to film with the best crew and the best vendors and the best everything. So if you're seeing things, if there's anything wonky, you can always call me too. We want to know these things, what you're seeing out there too, so that we can do something, so we can understand what's happening and see what we can do on our end, on the government side, the legislative side.
So if say what is happening, right, is these LA guys are just coming here.
Actually, if I don't want to take the time, if we can do this, because I know we want to get to the business side of working with the film industry, but I definitely want to talk to you about this. If we can do this after this, that would be great, because I definitely want to hear what you're talking about, what's going on.
I just wanted to piggyback off of two things, my big takeaways from that, because it relates to all of us, is that your success came from your work ethic. Understanding your worth was the second thing. So like he's saying, we have an overwhelming amount of genuinely authentic, amazing talent here in this city, in this state. And if you don't know your worth when you walk in to have that conversation, you won't get what you deserve. And I want the incentives to be there, I want New Mexicans to work, but I also want them to get what they're worth in that regard. So that is a big takeaway. Know what you bring to the table, know what you have to offer, and get what you deserve out of that, for sure.
Yeah, and I won't take too much time. I'll just give a quick runaround on how I got involved. So being from Deming, there was no avenues. There's nothing. So I ran track. I was a pretty good athlete, don't toot my own horn, but like I was trying to go to the Olympics. I injured myself, and I chose entertainment because the only thing I saw people who looked like us was a way out was either to be an athlete or an entertainment. So that's just bottom line. That's why I chose entertainment. So after injuring myself, got into entertainment. And I found, obviously I'm from a small town, I didn't care about doing local shows, who cares about some little dude in Deming, New Mexico doing some rap shows. So I did a demo, at the time demos were hot, so I sent my demo out to Chicago, LA, all these places, ended up getting signed to an ABC right before, at 17 years old, and right before I graduated high school, I had my first distribution deal, $50,000. Now I was 18 years old, $50,000 is a lot of money for 18-year-old engineer from Deming, and I'm a foster kid, so there's like, but because I didn't have the training, I didn't have a team, I learned the industry the hard way, and I learned how basically a lot of money comes out of your pocket as an artist, and if you don't understand that, you end up with nothing. So let's just say $50,000 doesn't matter, because I didn't have anything at the end of it, because I didn't know. And then I got involved with managers, and actually Maloof's, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Maloof's, they had a record label called Maloof Music. I actually had a 24-hour deal with them. I call it a 24-hour deal because MySpace was hot at the time. Yeah, I know. So, MySpace, still look good though. So MySpace was hot at the time. They found me on MySpace. I was willing to dealing with them. They had just signed Lindsay Lohan's sister. Yeah, okay. So she was on there. Offered me a deal, and then within 24 hours, where I say 24 hours, because within 24 hours, Maloof came in, shut down the record label, and turned it into Maloof Productions. So the record label went away, and like that, my contract went away. So needless to say, I had all these different contracts before I even turned 21, and then I went to college for my business degree because I wanted to learn money. That was the only thing I cared about at the time. So I was like, if I'm going to college and learn about money. And then I ended up interning at Capitol Records, and that's when everything kind of like took off from me, because I understood. For me, I wanted to understand the back, and how the industry ran from the business side, like you said, because I lost so much money at a young age. That you kind of have to learn, like, okay, if I keep going this way, I'm not going to have any money. So I learned the business side. That's why I interned at Capitol Records, made all the connections I needed to. And then, same thing, Capitol Records was up for grabs for a bank. Bank bought it. Universal came in, bought it. All the connections I made, Man in the Green Shoes, all that stuff, Universal just canned everybody. So needless to say, I had a lot of different avenues that just moved, but once again, it's the persistence. You just keep going, found my way, found my avenue, and I found a lot of different ways to get inside. And so, being in commercials and then starting my own stuff. And so I'm just leveraging this business for everything I can, but at the same time understanding that there's a lot of people here that don't understand how to get involved.
In Minneapolis, working for Best Buy's corporate headquarters, and I just realized I didn't like what I was doing. And so I used some of my vacation time to go work unpaid on a film, and decided I like it, and went back to film school, and within 3 months I did a music video for someone who won 2 Grammys, and that allowed me to do music videos for 7 years traveling the world. And so I didn't have this growing up, this passion for film. I had just, that entrepreneurial spirit of like, I just want to do something I like and be good at it. And so if you have that interest as a business owner, as an individual, there's opportunities that are there. And I think what's really important to me out of this is that you guys walk away knowing what your role could be as a business owner, as an individual, so that we're up here to tell you a little bit about what you could do in film and how to get into that as a business owner or an individual. So one thing that I think is might be beneficial is kind of just finding out from all three of you, like, what was the thing that surprised you the most as you started working in film or with your television show or commercial? Like, was it something you had always wanted to do, or did you, I know you kind of tripped into it, but you got that bug and you've been on every show that's happened here in the last 3 years. So I think it's just interesting to know, like, what's something that surprised you, and did you see yourself doing this even 6 months before you did?
For me, it was, I've always wanted to be in entertainment one way or another. I love a microphone. I like it when people look at me, you know? But I had so much curiosity as to how things are made, right? So when I showed up on film set for the first day, I had no idea what my role was gonna be. I didn't care. I just wanted to learn everything from everybody because I was so fascinated. And my big takeaway, and to piggyback a little off of what you were saying, is that the film industry and projects and productions as a whole are independent universes, really. They require every single role that a universe would require, all the way down to the guy that brings the packages from the office. Like, there is a job for everyone. There is a background that you have that you don't even know could be uniquely suited. But as far as jumping into it, and my biggest fear was what's gonna happen when I get there, and I don't know anything about film because I don't have a film degree. I didn't go back to college to do that. I love movies, and I like work, and I like the instant gratification of finishing something at the end of every day because the show must go on. But it was being open and being willing and being curious. Those were the things that helped me find my unique role, and those are the things that will help you find your unique role, because there is a need, and whatever it is that you do, there is something that can be filled with whatever profession you have. I don't know if I got on too much of a tangent, but that's essentially what I meant.
Yeah, one other quick thing that I want to say. We were talking outside before this started, and one thing that hit me and I think is important to understand is what a film is. Like, we set up an LLC, we start, run, and close down a business in 6 months. So as people who own a business or run a business, we know what you're going through. We have to do it in 6 months. We don't have long-term success, so we do it in a very time-sensitive manner. And so we get a lot of the struggles. And that's why small business, you can be more nimble and work with us, because we have to do that when we're making stuff. So I think, a lot of the struggles you see as a business owner, we see on set. And I work with small business all day, every day before, going to a big box or anything else, because you get that kind of personalized. If I need something at 1 a.m. because we're shooting overnight, I can't call the manager of a Best Buy, but I'm gonna call you if you're giving me, a big order, because it's livelihood for both of us.
And time is money, like you said. So if we can get it local and it doesn't have to be shipped, and we're not gonna have to worry about it getting delivered on time, you will get that business.
If something's broken, you're a local business owner, you're not gonna be successful if you don't find a way to fix it. And big boxes don't do that. And so it's important to have people who care as much about what they do as we do about what we do. And we don't get that from big business. We get that from local business who cares about the people they're hiring, what they're making, and the services they offer. So all day, every day, even selfishly to a production, you guys are gonna give a way better product than us buying something online or going anywhere else. And so that you're always our first choice. We just need to know what you have and how we can get it.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, we're running short on time, and Shawnee reminded me that we needed to have a question and answer period, so I want to make sure we open it up. So I apologize for cutting it short, we'll get back. But does anybody have any questions out there that anybody can answer for you?
I guess one question. If you're an entrepreneur and can you guys hear me? No?
Well, it's more for the recording.
Oh.
And for our live stream.
Sorry, Shawnee.
So sorry.
Entrepreneur, yeah, see, that's right.
That's the mindset.
So if you're an entrepreneur just relocating to New Mexico and you're looking to get into the film industry, what, I guess, parts of the industry are underserved by New Mexicans? just generally speaking?
Investor.
Well, are you talking about more on an individual basis, like, or do you own a business and you're wanting to like start a relationship? Like, is it macro or micro, I guess is the question.
Yeah, I own a juice bar in Pittsburgh, but again, moving here, again, I'm open to any businesses. I'm just kind of curious, are there certain businesses within the film industry that are just not being served by local people?
Yeah, I think there are opportunities for a lot of businesses to work. And I couldn't tell you right now what's underserved, but if you take my card, I can pull the data and get you that information and let you know like what they're bringing in from outside of New Mexico. Because that's big and we want to know that. And we can give you that information, so if you want.
And I would say from an individual standpoint, the trades, skill sets, those are the things that we need more of because they have to ship them in if we can't provide that. So that's where the big opening is, and they want to spend that locally, from your grip and electric people to locations to production assistants, especially production assistants. They're very hard to get going. But there's an opportunity for, on an individual basis, if you have a skill or a trade, set medics, they're so desperate for set medics, yeah. The local 480 overflow list is a great place to start. So you can look that up, the local 480, you can sign up for it by sending in a request, and you need like 2 letters of recommendation. It doesn't even require that either of those letters is from an industry professional. So get yourself on that list, and it has like a, you know, like all the individual departments from an overview standpoint, from like sound to camera to whatever, and based on your skill set, it might get you an opportunity. It's a good place to start if you don't have connections yet. And then on a local level, it's really just asking around. I bet you know someone that works in this industry. I bet you, if you go home, yeah.
Well, one other thing too that's important is the biggest competition for tax incentives in this, you know, on a state level for New Mexico is Georgia and Louisiana. And a lot of the productions that are looking at coming here want to know, I mean, there's stories, there's more diversity in film now than there's ever been. So they want to know what is the makeup, the diversity makeup in the region. So for background, for talent, they need African Americans for a lot of these films, and they don't want to bring in 200 because they can't afford to when they could go to Atlanta and they have that. So
we lose a lot of productions to that for that reason when it comes to the background of it all. Like any Western, any Spanish, Mexico, any, you know, downtown California even, we're the perfect place for that. But when it comes down to like, we lost a Black Western, you know, like we need the numbers and we don't have them. We have them.
Yeah.
They're just not
We just need to
connected
do a
yet.
better job.
Yeah.
We just had a Black Western, right, with Idris Elba.
Harder they
I
fall.
wasn't even like, if you were here, you would have been on that. Like, one of
No, but it's important because these films, like, it's never been more important for the producers in the studios to say, we want diversity represented on camera and off, because the different backgrounds from different people give us different perspectives that haven't been in Hollywood for years. And so it's important for, you know, even being background. If you don't want to be an actor, just being on background is great because you make a few bucks and you actually get to see how production works going there. And there's craft services, get those snacks and those meals, but you get to see how it really works rather than us talking, you're on set. And it just shows the diversity that does exist here.
And I just want to throw in there really quickly too, and I'm gonna get back to question and answer, but diversity is, they're finally focusing on it and wanting to make sure that they are hiring a diverse group of people.
They're still not hiring mixed people. I'm sorry, so if you're mixed, New Mexico still hasn't caught on that different races actually made babies. So
On the contrary, I think I have played every ethnicity there except for my actual ethnicity. I've been them all, depending on my haircut.
But let me just jump in. What I wanted to say about that was on our
Yes,
website.
I did.
So I just wanted to say too, on our website, our vendor directory, we're updating it to include those so you can self-report that you're a woman-owned business, that you're LGBTQ+, that you're Black-owned business, whatever. That'll be big. But production companies want to know about that. And we talk probably a few times a year about how we can increase diversity in the industry. So we're also open to suggestions. And the government only allows us to ask certain things too. So like, are you in the military and are you alive or something? That's it. But any other questions? Yes.
Isaac Crow, it's so be it. So I feel like I'm talking really loud. I have two questions. You kind of answered my first question, which is there an emphasis on minority-owned businesses as vendors and product suppliers and stuff like that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely want to showcase that because that's what the production companies, the big production companies want to know that. And so yeah, absolutely, we want to showcase that.
So my next question is more specific to my industry, apparel. You mentioned there was like a 6-month kind of like timeline to finish the movie and stuff like that. Do you guys start looking for vendors? I'm sure you did before that 6-month period. And what's the time frame that you're looking for to get your materials delivered?
Sure.
Yeah, that's.
So is your apparel company screen printing based, or is it, custom design? Like, what does your business do?
Well, it's custom design, custom cut and sew.
Okay.
And so we do everything from design, digital, to manufacturing the product.
Okay, so, for what you do, I think they want to know from the start, because I see what you do as being a very good resource for costume designers who want custom pieces for their talent. Now, screen printing businesses will be the ones that will get, we always get these wrap shirts that everybody, gets a $8 shirt and thinks it's the best thing in the world that says they worked on a project. But we will always hire local vendors for that because it's $400 to have it shipped to us and we don't get the incentive. So that's important. But the other thing too that's important to know is the reason so many of these studios want to know about the diversity-owned businesses is because when we're telling a story that's a Black story, we want somebody who knows intricacies. And that's not going to come from somebody who's white. That's going to come from someone who has a background, who knows the culture, knows, well, we wouldn't do that. When my grandmother said this, or my father said this, we would do this. And then it makes the story better, which makes the film better. So it's not just a movement for the sake of a movement. It's for the story to be more authentic.
The irony of the film as a whole is that it's fabricated, but it's every component within it is focused on the authenticity of creating that fabrication. So exactly to your
Well, here, let me jump in on this because a lot of people overthink this kind of stuff. And you're here like trying to get like a magical answer, right? But think about it. It's just a job, right? Movies are a lot of money. It's a magical thing on being on set. But how do most people get jobs? You want to answer that?
Well, they apply for it.
Do they actually apply or do they have a friend already on the job and gets them a job?
Networking.
Now, women
Relationships.
can just walk in and not even try to get a job. People are
that's a whole we don't have to.
but as a Black man, normally we have somebody that is already linked in and we get a hookup, right? So you can apply if you want to, and that's the regular way. You're going to be dealing with thousands of other people. But the music entertainment industry is very good old boy network. It would be better for you to list yourself as a vendor on all these sites so they can hire you. You have that option. But if you go in, since you do clothes, you go in and might just make yourself an IMDb, say you're a costume designer, and start working on some of these 48-hour festivals, and that'll actually get you an IMDb or some of these short films that are looking for a costume designer that has something, but they don't know anybody that not only is a costume designer with fashion sense, but actually has clothes to be able to bring to set, because that's what it's all about. Like when they ask me to do sound, they don't have a mic and a mixer and all of that. They want me to bring my stuff. So if you have your own costumes to bring, do that. Get you a small start off on IMDb so you actually can build a name for yourself, and then you're not sitting up here trying to be number one in a number one market, because it's not going to happen. You got LA, New York, people that have a long list of resumes that, yeah, we can sit up here and tell you, go sign up on this, but it's not going to happen. You're going to be at the bottom of the list. So you're gonna have to build yourself a team and get on a team, get on a few teams, and then you never know, in maybe next month, or in 6 months, or in 5 years, somebody that was a producer or an actor or a director on that film will be able to say, hey, I like this guy's stuff. Have you seen his suits? This is perfect for us.
Yeah.
And they'll bring you in, and then all of a sudden you're gonna get a budget to go with that as well.
Yeah,
I appreciate that
That's
answer.
how we do.
Yeah, I appreciate that answer.
All right.
I just wanted to
Two
do.
more questions. We're wrapping. We're almost at 4:30, and I want to kind of say.
All right, 10-second plug of my business, Johnny, thank you. We don't do just custom apparel. We also do like wholesale, like t-shirts, like I'm just saying it's cut and sew, embroidery, screen printing, sublimation.
And there's definitely a need for that, not just period pieces, all the way to like, I did res ball and we needed custom jerseys for the team, you know, so like there's a need for it. And I think to your point, it's a little bit of both. It does not hurt to sign up on anything to already give yourself that credibility that I put myself forward and I'm already trying this. You know, like he was saying, when you approach that conversation, that good old boy conversation, you want to have your ducks in a row. Here's my business card. Here's all the other things I'm doing to make myself successful before I've even met you. But it's what you do once you're in the room that is going to make the difference to what he's saying. So.
Yeah, he's already, man, look at him. Look at the way he's dressed and talking. He's
Are
already.
you ready, Mr.
He looks like a guy in the-
I'm gonna be working for him. I don't even, okay.
So, quick question, you know, I own rental properties here in New Mexico. Yeah. Well, you know, I don't know about that. I wish my rental properties were in LA. But
Well,
or Manhattan.
I can say from the 6 month perspective, the executives, the producers, the actors that come out here, they want to live in a house for 6
That was
months.
my next question.
They want that house to be furnished. Yeah. So there's a huge market for that and a huge demand for it. If you're someone who's doing just rental properties and you're getting your like 1 year annual tenants, consider doing an Airbnb type deal for, you know, months at a time and allowing people to rent a furnished property.
How much do you pay? How much do you pay?
But that's a whole other different conversation, but there's,
We're going with 3 bedroom, 2 bath.
well, I'm a local, sir, I live with my brother.
You would get, for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath fully furnished, you would get $3,500 to $4,000 a
Yeah,
month.
a month. And then
We
if
have a
you
deal.
like, do your research, look at your market, because it depends on the quality of your property and the location it's in, of course, right? But there are resources for that, for you to be able to compare your properties to others. There's a huge demand for that. And they are struggling with finding enough properties that are to the caliber they'd expect, so.
And it
yeah.
depends on the location. If I was in LA or New York, you'll pay more, right?
Well,
Yeah, because it's, you know, it's market specific, yes.
but it's like,
What's your overhead though?
it's like equitable, I don't know.
Also, to his point, we're not fighting to be number one national. You're fighting to be number one in Albuquerque because that's where the business is coming. So,
You're right.
you're LA, you're New York, you're Atlanta people, they're coming here and they need us to be at the caliber they expect.
Yeah.
So be ready, but there's a demand for it, absolutely,
So
yeah.
I think we have to wrap it up, but I just want to touch base with you really quickly, just to, oh, we have one more question. Let me answer to the property owner and those kinds of things. Take my card, because we have people that are always looking out, and I'll get it out for you when it's done.
Available at the end of the time as well. We'll be there. We can get them to you after.
But I just wanted to say that we get calls from people who are looking for properties, for rental properties, so please,
And
let
there-
me know.
There are a couple of vendors who are aggregators where they'll take homes that people own and they will rent it to production. It's eligible for incentive because Airbnb and VRBO are not eligible for incentive. So there are,
Yeah.
Daniel?
yes,
Is
there,
that price negotiable?
everything's
Well-
negotiable.
Yeah,
go
we
as
can
high
talk
as you
about it
want.
offline, I want to make sure that we don't get too
You also
off.
should list the.
Let's ask this one more question and then talk to me after
Instead
this.
of having people live there. It's-
Shawnee, oh, sorry.
So they'll come.
Hi.
Me, Eva Pickett with the Office of Black Community Engagement here in the city of Albuquerque.
Hi.
And my question would be, as we work with entrepreneurs and help them to develop their models and so forth, and what I'm hearing is that there's a lot of opportunity, but there seems to be a lot of barriers because we have Black businesses that are literally just vanishing, and extraordinary businesses, and no one ever asks the question why. And so I would say, how do we get our vendors and our businesses into a room with all of these hiring agents and so forth? So it's not the homie hookup or what have you, but really to showcase what they have available. You mentioned that there's, basically a litany of things that need to be done, and that could live within this room. So if all of 100% of these folks walk out today without having accessibility to that and, access, then it means that we haven't moved the wealth gap that exists, certainly in any direction, out of these conversations. And so I would really like to see that opportunity to say, how do we create a space that can exist to bring everyone to the table and make those negotiations and those deals and all of those things in a room to say you're walking out of here, and that's what makes it equitable, to say we're changing the course of how the legacy of wealth is dispersed.
I had a great idea for that, as you're talking about that. So the New Mexico Film Office is getting ready to have its annual film conference, Film Summit, and it'll happen in September. And we're gonna have a lot of people from like LA, like the producers, everybody. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to bring everybody to the table in a way. We'll figure it out because we're still in the planning stages, but I think that's a great opportunity. And as the New Mexico Film Office,
for sure. I'll get with you on that.
And as the New Mexico Film Office, we have a lot of opportunities and abilities to create things. So I think that even an aside, I think that has to happen for the conference, but let's work together to find other ways to make things happen for that, because we can do that and we want to.
My final, and I promise.
Wait, hold on, let me answer that question, because I got the answer for you. Is everybody here is an individual coming with their own talents and products, right? But until all of us decide that we want to make a movie, you get the same people that are on the same page that want to be able to help. The reason why Adam Sandler is so great is because he has a team of the Saturday Night Live crew, and they write for each other, and they write specific parts and lines for each other and their characters, and they keep rotating the same characters and the same lines over and over again, and they make $150 million, and then the next guy writes it, and they even make $150 million, and they keep the team together. So you can bring together people, like, you can go to the Santa Fe and complain about the laws all day, but they don't care because you have no backing. If you have a team, then you don't need to worry about asking for permission. You just start doing the movie. You start making your product, and you guys come together. Like, as a musician, there's plenty of people that play bass, plenty of people that play guitar. But after we write the song, who's gonna market this? Who's gonna book the security? Who's gonna make the t-shirts? Everybody has to wear multiple hats. You can't just come here and say, I wanna make clothes. You can't just come here and say, I wanna sell juice. You can't just say, I just wanna play saxophone. No, what else are you gonna do? Because we have 400 jobs that needs to be done, and there's 12 of us. So until we have all 400 of those positions filled, and then we're not gonna be able to do it individually. We're gonna have to come together as a team first and say, do you wanna make a movie? Do you wanna make a movie? Here's the movie, one movie that we're gonna make. Are you in? But the problem with Black people community, especially in this town, is once there's a community and somebody comes in, everybody has to have a voice. Now, if everybody decided that we are all gonna come together on one, like K-pop music, Korean music, they didn't have a bunch of different people. Teddy Riley was hired. They had a bunch of auditions from all of the American producers, and they hired one, Teddy Riley. And then they didn't have 15 different music studios. They put one music studio and 15 different investors all put their money together and put together one band called BTS. And BTS ended up being the biggest music group of all time across the whole world, and they've got billions of views. That is the way we come together in this community, just Albuquerque, New Mexico, as a Black community, and be able to make our voice and make something happen, is we got to come together on one thought, one idea, one project, and make it happen.
Yeah. So the main takeaway that I'm hearing from that, though, is that it's not just the conversation with the film, but with each other. Right. Like, make that irresistible commodity that is Albuquerque as a group. your screen printing, your custom, your whatever isn't you against the other Albuquerque guy that also does the same business. It's all of Albuquerque working together as a community, developing your own relationships so that when the big guys come in, we've already talked about it. You know what I mean? Because it's all of you. A rising tide is going to rise all these boats. They need it.
And
So.
what this is really a conversation still back to like mindset, and this is Black New Mexico, right? And the sooner that we remember when other cultures are building vibrancy and dollars in their communities, they rotate their dollars within their communities. So what Delmone is hitting on is the same thing. You know someone who's in your community, you call them first. Those dollars stay in within family, they stay within community, and they stay within businesses in that realm. The same thing will happen if we talk. I know we didn't get to talk about the Black Creators Program.
That's all.
So maybe
I
I was just thinking about that too, though. But when you get those kinds of people together and you start talking and having those conversations, it's really about a cultural shift and a mindset shift. It's something that has been a little bit harder to do because there's not been a lot of us around, but there's people who want to see that happen, right? And I have a lot of faith in our Black community across all four corners of this state that folks do want to come together and they do want to figure out, how do I help you? How do you help yourself, but how do we all help each other and rise together, just like you said, Kat. Thank you so much to our last film panel of the day. I super appreciate you all. This has been the New Mexico 2024 Black Business Summit. We're gonna have the recordings up probably in the next 2 weeks. We'll have those out and available to share for the panels. And thank you so much, Daniel, for making time and coming in last minute, and for you three for sharing your expertise and your excitement about the work that you do. I really appreciate you all coming. Carrie, thank you for facilitating. We've made it to the end of the day, but don't even think that that's it.